My experience in being the other is mainly around the notion of global north or global south. So I come from Sydney in Australia, originally from Philippines. So that's part of the Asia Pacific region, which is in the global south. And a lot of the programs that I've been to were UK or USA centric. What that meant was that for face-to-face pre-COVID, they were very prohibitive and costly. I had to travel to the UK, had to travel to the US, and I've done that several times to get to the programs and really learn from the master teachers or the ones who are the thought leaders in the field. For example, in clean language, in Nia Dance Wellness, the creator of Nia Dance Wellness, the creator of symbolic modeling, and also in my cognitive diploma in cognitive behavioral hypnotherapy in the UK School of Hypnosis. So I like learning from the best and the best institutions, but that meant having to fly to a different place up in the global north. Now, during COVID, what became prohibitive were the time zones. So as you can imagine, for example, with my cognitive behavioral hypnotherapy class, they were London-based. The classes were held during the daytime, but in Sydney, it was actually at 7 p.m. until 3 a.m. And considering the nature of what we're learning, which is hypnosis, and when we have to do practices with each other in class, that was really, really hard for me to stay awake when being put in a state of hypnosis. But the upside of it, of course, is I was able to practice self-hypnosis to keep myself awake. The other thing that was very prohibitive for me were the practice sessions. So with my Nia Dance Wellness, when I did my black belt, I did my white belt, blue belt, they were face-to-face, but when I did my brown belt, they were on Zoom. This was during COVID, and I had to wake up at 4 a.m. And all the other additional practice sessions were at horrendous times like 12 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., which I couldn't do, of course, because it's also physically demanding and it was exhausting. Plus, I have a day job during the day as well. And then with the cognitive behavioral hypnotherapy sessions, out of, for example, 20 practice sessions available outside of class with proper supervisors, only 1 or 2 were actually available that fits my time zone. So the other option that was provided to me is go through recorded sessions. But as you know, recorded sessions are very passive. I don't get to interact. I don't get to have real-time question and answer. And plus recorded sessions are just so boring. They are so hard to get through. So what I felt excluded from a lot of opportunities, especially practice sessions. I felt very, very frustrated. And the last one, really exhausted. I mean, it's physically demanding, mentally exhausting, just to go through night sessions of studying because it's very cognitively intense as well. So there are 2 things that work for me. One is asynchronous learning through network learning. So that really helped for me. Having a supervisor allocated for me for my clinical practice, for example, she's based in Singapore. So at least we only have a 2-hour time zone. But even then, that was challenging because she's only available at times that are much later for me. 6 p.m. her time would be 8 p.m. my time. But having a WhatsApp group with my peers as well, so that's asynchronous, and we get real-time Q&A, and sometimes they would make comments in class. So that's real-time, and I found that really, really helpful. We exchange resources as well. And also with my mentors. So I've kept in touch with mentors and previous classmates, and we just kept learning from each other and also putting in practice what we've learned in real life and what we've learned from that, especially one of my classmates, for example, in clean language, where I did the training face-to-face with him back in 2013. To this day, we're still in touch and we still continue to share lessons learned with each other, applying what we've learned. The other thing is finding other resources that resonate with me. There could be people, they could be videos, and I love using YouTube, fresh materials from YouTube that help me, and sometimes choosing my own materials other than those that were provided is very useful because some of those materials for some reason resonate more with me, and they are presented in a way that resonate more with me. Like, for example, I like materials that are more visual. Some materials have more infographic or animation. So in that sense also of belonging helps, like the kind of learner that I am, the kind of style of learning that I need, and learning more audiovisually than just through text. So in summary and in conclusion, my experience of being othered has really got to do with being excluded from programs that were UK and US centric. And I am fortunate that I am a resourceful person. I also have resources to overcome that. For example, I have the money and the time to travel and access those otherwise prohibitive programs that are based in the UK or the US. And having been a consultant has given me the flexibility to take advantage of that. And also being resourceful in terms of what other materials support my learning other than what's provided by the educational institution or the facilitators or teachers, that helped me a lot as well. And finally, networking from fellow learners, from mentors, from supervisors that sustained my motivation, my interest, and also being able to continue to reflect with them and continue to share resources, as well as putting into practice what we've learned. So being othered happens, even though it was a concept that was initially difficult for me to appreciate or grasp. I was othered in a different way than what was being alluded to or exemplified or illustrated in the materials in the class. But still, I knew what it felt like. And so that will be useful for me to consider moving forward. Thank you for listening.